Hey everybody, welcome to KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today we will be doing Tech Tuesday, where we'll be covering new tech news and gaming and all things tech. We'll start off with iOS 26, which is their new iOS software from Apple. It's releasing in beta currently for developers. It's not public yet, and then based on what people have been saying, it's been pretty buggy mess for the moment. But the public beta will release in July, and the full release of iOS 26 will coincide with the release of their new iPhone 17 in September. And with the iOS software, they are introducing their new AI DJ Automix feature, which seamlessly not only transitions each song into the next song, but it finds the right spot to transition that with the next one to mesh seamlessly like a real DJ would. And as a Spotify subscriber myself, I'm heavily considering making the switch because of this. And a DJ, it would give me that inspiration to sort of find the right mixing points for songs and just give you that sort of feature that people have been asking for rather than just playing the next song. And I think that can really go a long way in terms of, playlisting a party or anything of that nature. And then with that, we look to the TikTok ban that's looming in the United States. It's been looming for a while now. It's been delayed a third time after the Biden administration wrote in April of 24 that it was scheduled to be banned unless it was sold by its parent company. It's been, the topic of a national security concern being owned by a Chinese-operated company. The logistics have been really tricky with it because the app is perceived to be worth, billions of dollars, with over half of Americans, around 170 million users in America that use it, daily. And John Wybe with Northeastern State University said there would be no easy way to sort of separate TikTok operations and data from the parent company unless the parent ByteDance relinquishes essentially all control from it, which I don't really see happening, but you never know. It would just be a lot that would go into that. And then with Amazon, their Project Kuiper just released 27 new satellites into low Earth orbit, bringing the total now to 54 satellites in low Earth orbit. And their goal is to sort of bring satellite internet toward millions and billions of people across the globe. That is sort of kind of close to competition with Elon Musk's own Starlink under SpaceX. They want to sort of compete with them. And this was their second successful launch after their first batch of 27. It was launched on June 23rd after a weather delay, delayed it twice. And they have 54 currently, but they plan to have over 3,200 in the future to bring that sort of global network across the entire planet. And we'll see how that pans out. I know they have a certain deadline to meet to secure funding, and I'm not really sure how they plan to do all that, but it's interesting to see nonetheless. Sticking with Amazon, they announced their Alexa Plus model, which is in early access right now. It was revealed back in February, but now with the early access period, it has over reportedly 1 million users using it in early access. It's available free to Prime members, but for non-Prime members, it will cost $19.99 a month to use. Their model is different from the typical Alexa model that you think of. This one is more conversational, and it uses generative AI to kind of summarize emails, messages, updates. It can generate quizzes from study guides, which was really cool for students to use. It can create trip itineraries if you love to travel. It can also buy concert tickets, make dinner reservations, and notify you of any sales on items that you were looking to buy. So it's pretty useful in terms of, everyday use. I could see myself doing that. It's just a quality of life thing, just having that sort of convenience to kind of have someone necessarily like scheduling and managing your day to day. And Oakley and Meta actually just unveiled a new partnership at Fanatics Fest over the weekend, which featured several celebrities and athletes. They debuted their new smart glasses, and they have a limited edition Oakley and Meta Houston, which is available for pre-order starting July 11th. It will cost $4.99 though, which is a little high, and if you're looking for, a good smart glass alternative, I know there's a bunch of them that are maybe $200 and $300 that are available now, but those are partnered with Ray-Ban, which the Meta Ray-Bans only output 1080p video, whereas the Oakley and Meta collab is capable of up to 3K video, which, I mean, if you're in the market for smart glasses and want a nice upgrade, I can see that, but, it still has the front camera, speakers, the mics all built into the frame, so you can listen to music, have a conversation on the phone. You can also use it to kind of analyze what you're looking at and answer questions about what you're seeing. It can also be useful to translate languages that you're reading, which is really helpful if you're traveling in a foreign country or trying to have a conversation with someone who doesn't speak the same language as you. It can help if you use like Google Translate or anything like that. So it can be beneficial in that way, but I don't really see a reason to buy in at that price point at the moment. In terms of local news, there is new robotic technology being used with hernia repairs in Texarkana. And June is actually National Hernia Awareness Month. And a hernia is when organs or tissues kind of push through weak muscle areas that are supposed to be holding them there. And Christus Health has announced that they're using robotic tech to kind of help them with repairs and surgeries for hernias. And Dr. Christopher Timmons with Christus Health Trinity Clinic in Texarkana said that it can be used to make smaller incisions, which in turn causes less pain and less complications and gives patients a faster recovery from the operations. It's a very non-invasive procedure that can be very beneficial to those suffering from that. Sticking with local news, students in Natchitoches have unveiled 3D tech that have allowed them to model old buildings using drone technology that is to be used for historical preservation of these buildings. So it not only shows what they once were, but it gives the context of what they are today and what they used to be. Garmin's has unveiled a new index sleep monitor, which is essentially a lightweight armband that goes on you while you sleep, as opposed to like a bulky kind of like smartwatch. But it still does the same thing, even better in some cases, because it tracks your sleep score, your heart rate, your pulse ox reading, which is how much oxygen is actually in your blood, and it also tracks your breathing, your body temperature. So it's a lot of helpful, data and analytics to show you what kind of sleep you're getting and the quality of that sleep. And the battery life lasts 7 days, according to Garmin, which is great for, daytime charging while you're not sleeping. And one of my favorite features about this actually was that instead of like a normal alarm that's really loud and sudden, it actually detects when you're in the lightest stage of sleep. And it sort of gives you these like subtle vibrations to wake you up easily instead of, very loud like a normal alarm clock would. So instead of waking up super groggy and just like off-putting, it's very natural in terms of like bending to your sleep cycle and how you end up waking up. As far as gaming goes, the Switch 2 has released, and I gotta say, it's a pretty worthy successor to the Switch 1 in terms of graphical output and all the other specs. It's a 1080p screen, which uses LCD instead of OLED, but it still looks phenomenal in my opinion. And the hardware allows it to run, smoother and faster games. And the library is pretty weak right now, with the only heavy hitter being Mario Kart World. But if you're a guy like me who has a very long backlog of games you need to play, it is great for backwards compatibility because those games run so much smoother and nicer on the Switch 2 than they do the original due to the graphical upgrades and hardware improvements. And I know that the library is pretty weak right now, but Donkey Kong Bonanza is supposed to release July 17th, and they recently put out a direct a few weeks ago detailing, the game and the gameplay, and it honestly looks amazing. I can't wait for that one. That's 2 days before my birthday, so I'm pretty excited to get that one. And the third-party support from other developers that are not through Nintendo has been really great so far. I know Cyberpunk 2077 actually put all of their full game and the DLC on the actual cart, as opposed to other third-party developers having this game key card where you sort of put it in the system and you have to download it from the internet instead of it all being there already. So props to CD Projekt Red, who developed Cyberpunk 2077, for going that extra mile and putting the full game on the cart. I know that goes a long way in terms of, people who might not have access to other consoles and the Switch is all they play. It's great to have that third-party support finally come to Switch 2 now that they have the graphical requirements to do so. And speaking of games, developer Slow Clap has just released their new game on June 19th called Rematch. It is a brand new 3v3, 4v4, 5v5 soccer arcade game. And the developer Slow Clap also developed Sifu. I don't know if there's any Sifu fans out there, but it is the same developer. It's a closed arena arcade like similar to Rocket League in terms of a closed arena with, it's essentially Rocket League with actual people this time instead of, monster trucks. And it was revealed at the Game Awards in December of 2024, which is the most recent award show. It has already sold 1 million copies and has over 2.5 million players across all platforms. The developer was talking about the comparisons to FIFA, which is the premier soccer simulation game where, sure, FIFA is a great way to sort of actually simulate and manage a team, whereas Rematch is closer to that sort of feeling like you're actually on the field. And that gives players that sort of experience. It's an on-field view as opposed to up top. You're all in the action. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing with a bunch of my friends recently, and it's been a blast so far. I highly recommend it, even though right now there's a little bit of optimization issues currently. That sort of, people have been problems and popping up, but the devs are constantly working on updates and constantly working on that. So once it gets to that, I guess, full-fledged state, that's when I think it was worth it. But even when you're playing with friends, I think it's still a great time. So that's pretty much all I have today. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and be sure to join us tomorrow for another episode of KTAL News Now. We'll be streaming Monday through Friday every day at 1 p.m. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin, and thank you for joining us.